Hi, beautiful souls. Today we're going to be talking about how if we stop being grateful for things, our frequency changes and our whole life changes. That's the one practice that I have found out has changed everything in my life. It's changed the way I think, the way I feel, the way I believe in things. Also, it makes me feel so much love inside of me that I cannot explain in words. And when I started off this spiritual journey, I remember I was like, um, growing up, I grew up in India, and I spent the first couple of years of my life there. So we were always taught to be grateful because, you see people who have less than you see that on the streets every day. So everything that you have, like, we were taught to be grateful ever since I was younger. But when I grew up, I almost thought it was more like a guilt trip where, you have more. So if you're not grateful for it, then the universe might take it away, or you're being like a problem child. you know so I didn't really embrace being grateful until I became spiritual, and then I realized that we forget that everything in our life is such a blessing. And even the fact that we're alive, even this breath that I'm taking right now, it's such a blessing. I am so grateful that I'm even alive. And people worry about all these things in their life, like health, relationship, money, career. And I'm not saying that I don't worry, I do. But whenever I come back to being grateful and just the fact that I am alive, it changes and shifts my whole perspective, you know? And one of the things that they teach you in manifestation is be grateful so you can get more of that. And I remember I started doing that, a couple of years ago. I used to write down list of things, and then I was expecting something to show up. But I was writing those things I'm grateful for not from a place of actually being grateful, but from a place of expecting, like, manifestation, or expecting the universe to be like, look, I'm grateful, so you should give me more of that. So it wasn't genuine, it wasn't coming from my heart. And then something just shifted. I realized that the fact that, I have all these things, I'm living this life, I'm experiencing these emotions, is something that we should just be, so thankful for. Because whenever you get to that frequency, your nervous system, it relaxes and your heart opens. And when you're like no longer looking for something that's missing, and you're so present and focused on what is here, firstly, it is so peaceful. It gets you a state where, things are so like expanded, your consciousness expands. And then money, relationships, everything that you desire actually starts to come, because your body like feels lighter, and you just feel different, spiritually, mentally, physically, everything. So the more you're in that frequency, the more easier it is to attract everything. All of a sudden things start showing up. And that's like the first level, gratefulness, which is more like, raising your frequency. That's like where manifestation comes in. But another level, like above that, is spiritual gratitude. Like the surface level gratitude is, I'm thankful because good things happened, right? Like that's what we're always thankful for. But spiritual gratitude is something else. You're thankful for even the in between. And recently I've started being thankful for even the bad things, or negative emotions, or just for the fact that I'm alive. And spiritual gratitude, it actually aligns you with the frequency of grace, and where you actually let go and you trust the universe. That level, it takes a lot of time, because you're surrendering, right? Because your ego mind is always constantly chatter, and it's telling you that this is the plan of my life. But we forget that the universe's plan is much bigger than ours. We have no clue, what the plan is by the universe. And whatever the universe's plan is, trust me, way better than whatever we've planned in our head. And our conscious mind likes to control every single thing, like our ego, we want this, we want that. And so we're not surrendering. As soon as you surrender, something shifts in your energy. You start trusting the universe, you become so grateful. And I'll give you a small example. Like yesterday, I got a fine ticket fine from like parking ticket, and usually I would just be like, oh no, I got this, and I would feel kind of sad. But as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, thank you, and I'm grateful, and it's time for double happiness and things like that. So I just shifted that frequency straight away. And it's really hard. I'm not saying it's easy to be grateful for things which don't go your way, but once you shift that perspective that, the way you think that things should go is only the right way, it changes your whole perspective on life, because the universe has a plan for you. You have infinite number of choices, infinite number of doors, and if one door closes, 100 doors will open. So why are we so scared and afraid of just surrendering? Like, that's the biggest thing, even in manifestation, is about surrendering, and stop trying to control and trying to be something, and being like, no, I need this to feel this way. You don't need anything externally to feel anything. So, whenever you're feeling low, I would suggest that you take a deep breath and then just count three things you're grateful for in the current moment. Because when you're spiraling, like I do sometimes, when I'm anxiously thinking about the future, I always just take a deep breath first, and then I always like try to ground myself in the present moment. And gratitude is such a great way to become more present, and that's the ultimate goal of mine, is to be more present. Because all the techniques, the visualization and all of those, it kind of takes me to a place in the future, which I don't mind sometimes, but it actually takes me away from the present moment, because I get so obsessed with what I want. I want this, I want that in the future, and I forget that this present moment, I'm going to miss it. Like, we forget that we're going to miss this moment trying to think about a future which doesn't even exist right now. It exists later, and we're going to miss the present moment. So yeah, just be so grateful and thankful for the universe, especially for the, like, it'll take some time and some patience, but especially for the negative emotions that come up. I've started being grateful for that. You know why? Because whatever you resist persists. So anything that comes up which is negative for you, a negative emotion, negative thought, or negative pattern, just try and be more aware of it. Watch it from a distance. In one of the meditations that I used to do, it's called labeling, where you label the thought or the emotion, so it creates a space between it. And that's how you shift your emotional frequency, and you raise it. So yeah, be if something didn't go your way, just be like, oh, thank you, universe, I know something amazing is gonna go my way. Because trust me, the plan that the universe has is way bigger than your own plan. And this doesn't come from my voice, like you're probably not going to believe it if I say it. It comes after you've come to a point and realized that if right now you're sitting here, you're listening to this, whatever happened in your life, especially the bad things that you think are bad, or whatever negative things happen, if they didn't happen, you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be this strong, you wouldn't be listening to this, you wouldn't be on this journey of healing and spirituality if those things didn't happen. So let's just appreciate everything that led us to be here in this moment, and let's be grateful for this moment. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to like, share, and subscribe.